Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. In the morning before beginning the session, I have to put all the devices in order. Recently, there had been a slight second, who is not here? There had been a slight inconvenience. The apps have changed. The normal way of logging in has changed. This morning, while trying to connect to YouTube, the app has changed. So I have to find the way how to do it, and in that, we start getting the call on Skype. See, just give me a few minutes before I could come on the line. Transformation and fate. In the process of how to transcend the dream, this is a logical question in the mind of the human beings. A logical question. It is said that if we are actors and everything is predetermined, is written like the script, then how can meditation transform us without containing anything for our transformation at a specific time? And if such a chapter is already written, waiting to unfold at its due time, then why meditate? Why make effort at all? This contains a fallacy. I am not saying that everything is determined. I am not proposing a theory to explain the universe. It is a device. Everything is a device. Just as when I had mentioned the technique of Buddha, Mahavir, which was used in India, saying that the house is on fire, so you will run out. Gurdjieff used another technique, a constant remembrance, saying that I am, which corresponds to Sufi kalmat, nazar bar kadam hosh dardam, khilwat dar anjuman. This is a question when it is said that when everything is predetermined, this is the game of destiny or bhagya or fate, then why to make an effort? If you look at the script of a movie, the script is written, but that script has to be materialized. In order to materialize, every actor has to act. India has always been working on this device of fate. It is not meant by this that everything is predetermined. This is not the case at all. The only reason to propose this is that if you take it that everything is predetermined, then everything becomes a dream. If you take everything in this way, if you believe this way, that everything is predetermined, That, for example, you are going to die on a particular day, everything becomes a dream. It is not determined, it is not fixed. No one is that much interested in you. Is anyone around you is interested, really interested in you? The universe is completely unaware of you, and when you are going to die, it is so useless thing. Your death is irrelevant, and for that matter, death of anyone is irrelevant to the universe. Do you think you are so important that whole universe is determining the day of your death and remembering it? The time, minute and moments? No. You are not the center. It makes no difference to the universe whether you are or you are not. But this fallacy goes on working in the human mind. It was created in the childhood, and it becomes part of unconscious. Your presence or absence makes no difference to the universe, to the existence, whether you are or not. But this is the fallacy that goes on working in human mind, and it has been created in your childhood, and it has become part of your unconscious. A child is born. He cannot give anything to the world, but he has to take many things, almost everything. He cannot repay. He cannot give back anything. He is almost helpless. He will need food. He will need love. He will need shelter. He will need warmth. Everything to be supplied. A child is born absolutely helpless, particularly man's child. The animal child, as soon as it is born, within no time it starts standing on its own feet. I have seen the young ones of the cow. As soon as it is born, the cow continues to lick, and within 15-20 minutes it stands up on its own. But such is not the case with human child. No animal is so helpless. That's why no animal creates a family. There is no need. But the human beings, they need a family because we are born helpless. So, and absolutely helpless, the child cannot exist without there being a mother to protect, a father, a family, a society. He cannot exist alone. Alone he will die immediately. He is so much dependent. He needs love, he needs food, he needs almost everything. And he will demand everything. The mother will supply, the father will supply, the family will supply, the society will supply. The child begins to think that he is the center of the whole world. Everything is to be supplied to him. The world revolves. He becomes the center of the family, and everything revolves around him. He has but to demand. Just to demand is enough. No other effort is needed. So child begins to think that he is the center, and everything just goes around him. The whole existence seemed to be created for him. Whole existence wants him. the whole existence, it seems as if is waiting for him to come and demand, and everything will be fulfilled. This is a necessity that his demands should be fulfilled, otherwise he will die. But in reality, this necessity becomes very dangerous. He grows up with that attitude that I am the center. By and by, he demands more. A child's demands are much less, they can be supplied. But as he grows up, his demands will become more and more complex. Sometimes it will not be possible to supply them, to fulfill them. Sometimes it may be absolutely impossible. He may demand moon or anything. The more he will grow, the more his demands will become complex and almost impossible. Then frustration sets in. Child goes to think that he is now being deprived. He has taken it for granted that he was the center of the world. Now problems will be there. By and by, he is dethroned. When he becomes an adult, he is completely dethroned. Then he will know that he was not the center. But deep down, the unconscious mind goes on thinking in terms of him being the center. This is one of the biggest problems that everyone feels and operates through subconscious. People come and ask whether their fate is determined. They are asking whether they are so important, so significant for this universe that their fate is predetermined. What is my purpose, they ask. Why was I created? This is childhood nonsense that you are the center that creates such questions. For what purpose am I created? Just as when you walk through the thoroughfare, you make your way. One step you take that creates the space for the second step. You are not created for any purpose. It is good that you are not created for any purpose. Otherwise, because if you are created for a purpose, then what happens? Everything becomes mechanical. An air conditioner is created for a specific purpose. Mechanically, it gives you cool air. So on and so forth, all these electrical devices or the vehicle is created for a specific purpose to run on the road. It cannot fly. So you are not created for any purpose. If you had been created for any purpose, then you would have become a machine. A machine is created for some purpose, a specific purpose, but man is not created for something. No, man is just overflowing. He is overflowing creation. Everything simply is. Flowers are there, the stars are there, everything is there. Everything is just overflowing joy, a celebration of existence without any purpose. Why do flowers blossom? If they do not blossom, what they will do? There is no other way. Blossoming is their way. Man is just the overflowing creation. There is, but when you consider that there is a purpose behind, then life becomes difficult. The theory of fate goes on that everything is for a purpose. But this theory of fate, predetermination, is what creates problem, because it takes it as a theory. We think that everything is predetermined, but in reality nothing is determined. However, techniques use this as a device. It is a device only. When we say everything is predetermined, this is not said to you as a theory. The purpose is that if you take life as a drama, predetermined, then it becomes a dream. For example, if I know that this day, this night, I am going to talk to you, and it is predetermined that words I should speak on this day, if it is predetermined, or my script is written what words I should speak on this day, if it is so fixed that nothing can be changed, that I cannot utter a single word outside this script, then suddenly I am not related at all with this whole process, because then I am not the source of action. Everything is predetermined, is written. If everything is predetermined, and if every word is to be spoken by the universe itself, or by the divine, or whatsoever name you choose, then I am no more the source of it. Then I can become an observer, simply an observer. If you take life as predetermined, life is predetermined, then what happens? You can observe it. Then you are not involved. If you are a failure, it was predetermined. If you are a success, it is predetermined. If both are predetermined, then both becomes of equal value, synonymous. Neither the failure nor success is important because it was predetermined. Then one becomes Ravan, the other becomes Ram, and everything is predetermined. Ravan need not feel guilty, and Ram need not feel superior. Everything is predetermined. So you are just actor, you are just on the stage playing the role. Look at it this way. To give you a feeling that you are playing a role, to give you the feeling that this is only a predetermined pattern that you are fulfilling, to give you a feeling that you can transcend it. This is the device. It is very difficult because we are accustomed to thinking fate as a theory, but we do not consider fate as a device. Fate is a device, not a theory. Not only as a theory, but we consider law of fate. We cannot understand this attitude of taking these things as law and theories, not as theories, as device. I will explain to you. One example will be helpful. Once I was in a place, someone came to me, I did not know, I was not aware. He was dressed so that he looked like a Hindu. He not only looked like a Hindu, but he talked as if he was of a Hindu type, not a Christian type or a Muslim type. He asked one question. Mohammedans and Christians say that there is only one life. Hindus, Buddhists, and Jains say that there are many lives, a long sequence of lives, so that unless one is liberated, one goes on and on being reborn again and again. So, what do you say? If Jesus was an enlightened one, he must have known, or Muhammad or Moses, they must have known too, if they were enlightened men. And there are so many lives, not just one. And if you say that they are right, then what about Mahabir, Buddha, Shankar? One thing is certain, then they cannot be enlightened. Jesus says there is one life, Muhammad says one life, Buddha says many lives. Mahabir, Hindus, Shankar, all of them say that long sequence of lives, and they are all enlightened ones. Then why there is difference in their speaking? If Christianity is right, then Buddha is wrong. Then Krishna is wrong. Then Mahabir is wrong. And if Mahabir, Krishna and Buddha are right, then Muhammad, Jesus, Moses are wrong. This is a question of puzzle. I am in a state of confusion, and both cannot be right because both are enlightened. How can both be right? Either there are many lives or there is one. How can both be right? The person was intelligent. He had studied many things, so he said, you cannot just escape and say that both are right. Both cannot be right. It is logically so, both cannot be right. Now, what do you say to this? The question was very intelligent one. If Christianity says, then I said it need not be. Your approach is absolutely wrong. Jesus does not say there is, when Jesus say there is one life, or Muhammad say, or Moses say there is one life, and Buddha says there are many, both are devices. Neither Jesus is right, nor neither is right, neither is wrong. Jesus, as you say, if Jesus is right, then Krishna is wrong. If Krishna is right, Jesus is wrong. Neither Krishna is right, nor Krishna is wrong. Neither Jesus is right, nor Jesus is wrong. It becomes, when you say something like this, it becomes impossible to understand. It is it is a device that you have to understand, a very deep device. Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, they were talking to one type of people. Like, for instance, a person, you went to a particular University of Chicago, majored in a discipline of medicine. Along with you, there were other people as well. You started working in a metropolitan city. Next, one of your friends, so both of you are medical doctors. If we use the terminology that each one of you is enlightened in the field of medicine, one works in a metropolitan city in America, next one goes to work in Spain, third one goes to work in Mexico, and next one goes to work in, decides to work in a village in India. Each one of them is speaking to a different, dealing with a different set of patients, with different language, with different lifestyle, with different understandings. The examples that you have to give, or the treatment that you have to give, will differ. The nutrients, the food that you will recommend them will depend on the availability in the area that they are living. So, Jesus, Moses, and Muhammad, they were talking to a different set of people, one type of mind, because they lived at a certain time, they only one type of mind. Buddha, Mahavir, Krishna, they were talking to a very different type of mind. There are really two sources of religion. One is the Hindu religion, Hindu way, the other is Jewish. So all the religions born out of India, all the religions born out of Hinduism believe in rebirth, in many lives, and all religions born out of Jewish thinking. Christianity is born out of Jewish thinking, Mohammedanism, all born out of Jewish thinking, and they believe in one life. Both are devices. Jesus or Muhammad, when he says there is one life, it is a device for your transformation. When Hindus say, because Hindus is a different mind, it is a device that there are many lives. Try to understand it. Because our minds are fixed in a particular way, we take things as theories. The theory of karma, the theory of fate, we never take it as a device. So many times people come and say, one day you say, this is right, next day you say, that is right. But the two cannot be right. The lunch time is 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I say I am hungry. At 12:30, I say I am not hungry. Which is right? At 12, I was hungry because I was waiting for lunch to be served. At 12:30, I had finished the lunch, so I am not hungry. So, which is right? I am hungry. You will say that my way is inconsistent. One moment I say I am hungry, next moment say I am not hungry. If I tell you I am very hungry and you have nothing in your house, you try to rush to the restaurant or call the restaurant to get the food for the sheikh, and you rush or wait for the delivery for food to come. In the meantime, I am so hungry that I open the fridge and find something and I eat. By the time your food comes, I have already eaten. For me, the food is not important. What is important is that something to go in my stomach. So both are correct. But the mind cannot understand. And the mind will say both cannot be right. But no one is saying that both are right. I am not concerned at all which one is right and which one is wrong. I am only concerned which device works for you. If the device of one life works for you, let it be. If the device of many lives works for you, let it be so. In India, they use this device for device of many lives. Why? Why it is used that there are many lives? This you have to understand. If this is the device, for instance, Osho has given dynamic meditation. It has 5 stages. Everyone lives life unconsciously. Mechanically. So the whole mind becomes mechanical. To bring out the mind out of that, a certain device has to be used. India, the concept of many lives has been used as a device. There are many points. All the religions born in the West, particularly out of Jewish thinking, were the religion of poor people. Their prophets were uneducated. Jesus was not educated. Muhammad was not educated. Moses was not. They were all uneducated, unsophisticated, and they were talking to the masses who were not sophisticated at all. They were poor, not rich. For a poor man, one life is more than enough, because poor means a life of suffering. So one is more than enough. He is starving, is dying. If you say to him that there are so many lives, that he will go on taking birth again and again, that he will move in a wheel of 1001 life, the poor man will feel frustrated that nothing can happen to him about the whole thing. What are you saying? A poor man will ask, one life of suffering is more than enough when you are talking about 1001 of lives, 1,000,000 lives? Do not speak this. Give us heaven immediately after this life. God becomes a reality only if He can be achieved in this life immediately. This was the case with Christianity, Islam, and the religion born out of Moses. Buddha, Mahavir, Krishna, they all were educated, they all were sophisticated, They were talking to the rich society. Today it has become difficult to understand because the whole wheel is turned. Now the West is rich, the East is poor. Then the West was poor and the East was rich. All the Hindu avatars, the incarnations, Tirthankars, teachers of Jain world, Buddha, they were princes. Buddha was a prince, Mahavir was a prince. They belonged to royalties. They were cultured, educated, sophisticated, refined in their ways. You cannot refine Buddha more. He was absolutely refined, cultured, educated. Nothing can be added. Even if Buddha comes today, nothing can be added to him. So they were talking to a society that was rich. Remember, for a rich man, the problems are of a different nature. For a rich society, pleasure is meaningless. Heaven is meaningless. For a poor society, on the contrary, heaven is very meaningful. If the society is living in heaven, heaven becomes meaningless because you are already living in luxury. So you cannot propose this. You cannot create an urge to do something for heaven. They are already in it. And not only they are in it, but they are bored. See how rich people feel bored. They have all the comforts. They have the television, they have the best of cars, they have the luxury houses, penthouse, and so on and so forth. Yet still the life is meaningless, bored. So Buddha, Mahavir, Krishna do not talk about heaven, they talk about freedom. They cannot talk of pleasant world beyond. They talk of transcendental world where there is no pain or pleasure. Jesus heaven that was spoken by Jesus will not appeal to them because they are already in a heavenly life. Look at the comfort that you are living in as compared to your other friend. So, will talk of heaven be meaningful for you? No. And secondly, for a rich man, he is bored. He has all the comforts. He has the money to buy the latest smartphone, latest cars. A new model of car comes in, he buys it. One of my friends, when I was in India, he came from England. He said, when we go back, so we're discussing the life and everything. So he said, when we go back, we have to change our furniture. We have to change a house. I said, why? He said, the house we are in is already 4 years old. The furniture is old. We have to change it. I said, is it wear and tear? He said, no. We must change every 2 years or 3 years. We have to change the car. But I said, I have the same furniture for the past 10 years. When it was so dirty, I got it shampooed. And when it was really bad, then I got the upholstery changed. I had the office chair. After some time, the kind of material they use that bears wears and tears. So I send it to the upholsterer to get it upholstered, reupholstered. So that man, he has to change everything because he is bored. So the problem of a rich man who has money, his problem is that of boredom. On the contrary, the problem for the poor man promised to him pleasure in future. For a poor man, suffering is his problem. For a rich man, suffering is not his problem. For a rich man, boredom is the problem. The two people have different problems, so their solution has to be different. The rich man is bored of all pleasures. A poor man cannot think, you give him, if you give me your old car because you are going to change a new car, I'll be more than happy. But for you, that car is outdated and you don't like it at all. You want to change the new car because you can afford it. But if you can give your old clothes which you are not wearing, you need to change your winter clothes, you give it to your friend, he will be more than happy. The problem for the poor man is that of suffering, and the problem of the rich man is that of boredom. He is bored of all pleasures. Buddha, Mahavir and Krishna all use this boredom. They said, if you do not do anything, you are going to be born again and again. This wheel will move. Remember, the same life will be repeated. The same sex, the same richness, the same food, the same place, again and again. 1,001 times you will be moving in a wheel. To a rich man who has known the pleasure is not a good prospect, and go on repeating. Every 4 years you buy a car, you are repeating it. Repetition becomes a problem. Every winter you buy a new winter clothes. Not that your winter clothes needs changing, but the company has brought out a new range of winter clothes, you must change it. That is the suffering for him. He wants something new. Mahavir and Buddha says, there is nothing new. The world is old. Nothing is new under the heavens. Everything is just old. You have tasted all these things before, and you will go on tasting them again. You have tasted the iPhone model 7. The manufacturer must find ways and means to sell the model 8, so he makes a change, a slight in the design or the pattern, anything. So you must buy that. You are in a wheel, moving. You have to go beyond it. Just take a jump out of the wheel. For a rich man, if you create a device which intensifies his feeling of boredom, only then he can move towards meditation. For a poor man, if you talk about boredom, this is meaningless. A poor man is never bored. Only a rich man feels bored. A poor man is never bored. He is always thinking of future. Something is going to happen and everything will be okay. The poor man needs a promise, but the promise is a very long way. It becomes meaningless. It must be immediate now. Jesus is reported to have said that in my lifetime, in your lifetime, you will see the kingdom of God. This statement has haunted the Christianity for more than 20 centuries because Jesus said, in your lifetime, immediately you are going to see the kingdom of God. And kingdom of God has not come even yet. So what did he mean? And he said the world is going to end soon. You do not waste time. Time is short, Jesus said. Time is short. It is foolish to waste. Immediately the world is going to end and you will have to answer to yourself, so repent. Jesus created a feeling of immediacy through the concept of one life. He knew. Buddha and Mahavir also knew. Whatever they knew, they told. Whatever they devised is known. This was a device to create immediacy, urgency, so you would begin to act immediately. India was an old country, rich. There was no question of urgency or promises in the future. There was only one possibility to create urgency, that was to create more boredom. If a man feels he is going to be born again and again, infinitely ad infinitum, he immediately comes and asks how to be freed of this wheel. This is too much. Now I cannot continue it anymore, because whatsoever can be known, I have known. Whatsoever comfort I need to get, I got. If this is to be repeated, it is a nightmare. So he wants to come out of this wheel. So Buddha and Mahavir say there is nothing new under this sky. Everything old is old and repetition. And you have repeated it for many lives, and you will go on repeating again and again. So beware of this repetition, because beware of this boredom. So how can you become aware of this boredom? Take a jump. Come out of this wheel. The device is different, but the purpose is same. Take a jump. Move. Transform yourself. Whatever you are, transform yourself from it. If you are rich, you are bored, come out of this boredom. If we take religious statements as devices, there is no contradiction. If you take the religious statements as theories, then you are bound to be in conflict whether Jesus is right or Buddha is right. Both cannot be, and there will be problems. The followers of Jesus will be condemning Krishna, Mahabir and Buddha, and the followers of Buddha will be saying how foolish is Jesus or Muhammad, saying that there is only one life. The two cannot be right, but both are right because Jesus uses one device. He worked with a certain set of people. Buddha worked with another set of people. The times were different. He used another device. There is no contradiction in anything. Then Jesus and Krishna, Muhammad and Mahabir mean the same thing. They create different routes for different people. Just as the car manufacturer creates the different models of Toyota to suit the pockets of different people. So Buddha and Mahabir and Jesus, they created the devices to suit the capabilities of different people, different bent of minds. They create different routes for different people, different techniques for different minds, different appeals for different attitudes, but those are not principles to be fought and argued about. They are devices to be used, transcended, and thrown. That is all that is behind this, is all this conflict that we have created, whether Jesus is right. We go on having the arguments if Jesus is right or Krishna is right, who is right and who is wrong. The mind goes on and always in the right and wrong. Never take the religious statements as theories. Take them as statements and take them as devices. And if you take them as devices, there is no contradiction. So, only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.